We are going to kick off with the release yesterday of Julian Assange. He was released from Belmarsh prison. He had been there since 2019. He got on a chartered aircraft which flew him to Bangkok initially and then to Saipan, which is apparently an unincorporated organized territory of the United States. And there he had took part in a court hearing. I'm sure everybody knows this by now, but anyway, he pled guilty to one charge. He was due to be sentenced to 5 years in prison, and with time served, he was released. And well, you've just seen him getting off the aircraft again in Australia. So Assange out of prison. Well, I guess we can have a discussion about that. But if we look at this, what was the BBC's response? Campaigner or attention seeker? So first of all, Charles, I don't know what your thoughts are here, but does the average attention seeker, do they spend 14 years in incarceration of various types?
Good afternoon, Mike. Good afternoon, all. I don't think they do. No, I think that's extremely unfair and really deflective sort of look at it by the BBC. And I think the question really now should not be about his current predicament, but should be a chance to go over what has happened to him, what did happen, and to have some redress for him, but also to be able to make sure that that cannot happen to anybody again.
Well, indeed. Now, the Australian government seems to have had quite a role to play on this. Now, of course, historically they haven't, but there has been a change of government in Australia, and the new regime there seems to have been a bit more proactive about sorting this out. So whether their latest actions, including delegations sent to the United States Congress at the end of last year and so on, whether that had anything to do with it, I'm not sure. Of course, we can't underestimate the campaign that's been run over the last number of years by WikiLeaks and their supporters. But the other issue here, Vanessa, is, as Charles has just said, we shouldn't sort of try to deflect away from what Assange has actually done. I mean, what are your thoughts about the contribution that he's made?
Well, he's done everything that the BBC has never done. I mean, he's held power to account, and he's also enabled through the WikiLeaks files journalists that are looking to hold power to account. He's enabled them to do so. And I mean, you know, we don't have the time right now to go through the very long history of information that has been used for good, basically, from the WikiLeaks platform. So, you know, that's the bottom line, really. He's done what all journalists and legacy media should be doing, and which none of them do. And that's why he's vilified.
Indeed. And a lot of the naysayers that I've seen on social media so far, Vanessa, are focusing on the alleged sexual improprieties and trying to deflect again away from the release of the documentation itself. You know, at the end of the day, he has apparently pled guilty to a charge of actually inciting the release of documentation. So the argument of the other side in this court case is that it wasn't that he was just handed documents by whistleblowers, but he actually incited that handing over of whistleblowers. There's got to be a massive public interest case in this, or justification.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And also, of course, we shouldn't forget the timing, just coming up to Biden's election. And you know, there's going to be all sorts of different spins and different interests involved in trying to spin this story. But I think, you know, we just have to keep a focus on the good that Julian Assange did. His statements that, as I've said, have exposed really, you know, the criminals in this world, and bear that in mind at all times.
Yes.
Anything else is distraction.
Indeed. Now, just to sort of finish this off, Charles, I just was going to, because we're going to come on to independent candidates later on, and who should be the next Prime Minister, perhaps. But I just thought we should highlight this, and let's bring this on screen, because this is an excerpt from a book called Secret Power by Stefania Maurizi, while making the point here that it was the Crown Prosecution Service, a public authority then headed by Keir Starmer, which had helped create the legal paralysis and diplomatic quagmire responsible for Julian Assange's arbitrary detention. So that, I guess, gives us Keir Starmer's involvement in the Julian Assange case, Keir Starmer's involvement in some of the prosecutions over the Horizon IT scandal that continues. The inquiry continues on that at the moment, and also the Jimmy Savile case. So Keir Starmer, it seems, doesn't have a great reputation with respect to judicial matters, and the question is he qualified to be Prime Minister?
Well, I don't know that his background with the CPS could be directly overlaid to any sort of political capability, but it doesn't look like he's somebody that is able to confront issues that have blighted his past, or at least should be viewed as having blighted his past. And this doesn't seem to have cropped up nearly enough during the inquisition of him as an individual or his election campaign. And if he's going to put himself forward as somebody who's sort of made a difference to the country in the past, then that needs to be examined and scrutinized. He needs to accept the consequences. But no, I wouldn't say that based on his apparent leadership of the CPS as DPP that he's covered himself in anything like glory.
No, indeed. Okay, well, so congratulations to Assange. Some people, sorry, just to finish this off, Vanessa, some people will be perhaps disappointed that there may be a precedent set here by him accepting this guilty plea on a single charge. But it seems to me that if there's going to be any criticism there, then people need to also have spent certainly several years in Belmarsh and a lot of years in another form of incarceration before that, before any criticism is levelled.
Absolutely. Walk in his shoes. I think that's, it's a very unfair criticism. Look, as I said, look at what he's achieved, look at what he's done, look at what he's gone through, and leave the guy alone. I'm only sad, actually, that John Pilger didn't live to see this day. I think he would have been overjoyed.
Yes. Okay. Well, look, let's